And so let's first do some decorations, and then we can look at doing, you can type in some text. So if you're following with on the manual, we've just done points 1 to 4, and we're now going to look at point 5 on how to highlight and change the color of our table. So I want to just highlight the top 3 rows because I want to make them one color. How I do that is I take my mouse onto the first cell, so one of these squares is called a cell, and I click and I hold down my left mouse button and I drag across, and as I drag across it highlights. If I were to drag down, it will highlight the cells below, but I don't want that, I just want the top cells. A second way you can do it, I'm just going to click off so that it's no longer highlighted. If you take your mouse, take it to the beginning of the row, and you can see if I'm further right, the cursor or the mouse pointer is a vertical line. As I move it left, it changes to a black arrow. Even more left, it changes to a white arrow. When you change it to a white arrow, you can now click and it will just highlight the row where it is located. If I wanted to highlight both, let me show you here. I would move the mouse there until it's a white arrow. Click, click, and now hold down my left mouse button, drag down, and it would highlight the whole table. But I don't want that, I just want the top row highlighted. Now I take my mouse and I put it on top of the blue area. It must be on top of the blue area, or else what you do next won't work. Now I want you to right click on the mouse. So you've always been left clicking, now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to right click so that we can bring up a menu. So you can see here's a menu. So if you're not sure whether to left click or right click is the most common, right click is to bring up menus. And here this menu, I want to go down to borders and shading, and I click it on it there. Another way you can do it, so this way that I've shown you will work on all systems, new and old. On the newest systems, there's another way you can do it. Let me just click out. I've still got my top row highlighted, and now I'm underneath the Design tab. You can see on top it says Table Tools, and so this only comes up when you've got a table and you are altering the table. And so you can see if I click out, that tab disappears completely, and as soon as I highlight in the table, it appears at the top here. So when it appears, there's 2 options, Design or Layout. Under Design, you can see here there's Shading or Borders. I want you to click on the Shading tab. And so it's exactly the same as if you went down here and you right-clicked with your mouse over the shaded tab, shaded cells. So I'm going to do the first one. I'm going to right-click. I'm going to go down to Borders and Shading. And I'm going to click at the top here. There are 3 tabs I can choose from. I don't want the first 2. I want the third one, Shading. So I click on it. And now it's telling me that there's no color that is filled in the table. So I click on this down arrow, and there's a range of colors to choose from that I can change the cells to that color. I'm going to choose this blue color here, and you can see it changes the cells over here. This is a preview, it says, a preview of what it's going to look like. And I'm going to click OK. And you can see behind there that I've clicked out of the cells, so it's no longer highlighted, but it remains blue, and that's because I have shaded it. Now I want to shade the lower cells, so I click in the first one, and I drag across. I hold my mouse button down and I drag across. Remember, at the top, these 2 tabs appear. I click on the Design tab, and I'm going to click on Shading. So this is the second way that you can do it. And you can see it's a lot shorter. But maybe if you have an old machine, you won't be able to do it this way. And I'm going to click on the light green. You can choose whichever colors you like. But you can see on the screen it's not light green. The reason why is because it's still highlighted. And anytime something is highlighted, it is blue. So let's click out of the table, and there's your light green. So that is one way of changing the formatting to make your table look more presentable. Now I want to change the size of my table. So I do this by taking my cursor here, so that's my mouse pointer. I move it up till it reaches the bottom line of my table. And you'll see that if it's a bit above, it's a vertical line. If it's below, it's a vertical line. But if I'm directly on the line, it changes to a horizontal line with 2 arrows on either side. Now when it looks like that, I want you to click, hold your mouse button down, and drag it down. You can see this dashed line appears, and you're going to drag and let go. You can take your mouse off, your finger off the mouse. And you can see it's increased the size of the table.